Aloha, it's Robert Stellick with Blue Planet Surf. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about different adjustment systems on adjustable paddles, disadvantages, advantages of adjustment systems, and how to use them and how to maintain your paddles. So let's start first with this aluminum adjustable paddle with a clip adjustment system. So this one just has like 2 steel pins inside that push into these holes inside the adjustment system. So one important thing about the clip system is that you have to use both thumbs to push it out. Then to put it, once you find the right height, and for me it's about where my wristwatch would be when I reach up over my head, that's about the height I want. You line up the hole with the notch here, and then you can push it in and it'll slide into those holes. There's 2 steel pins that will slide into the holes. So this is a really strong, solid system. Can't be twisted. Has a little bit of wiggle sometimes, but it's very strong and solid. So this is a great system for like rental beginner paddles, and these aluminum paddles are very strong with the nylon blade. Great paddles for entry-level paddlers. If you want an inexpensive, strong paddle, these are great, but they're relatively heavy and not very high performance. They don't have a good flex pattern. They're pretty stiff. So performance-wise, they're kind of so-so, but they're strong and inexpensive. Those are the advantages. So one thing about any paddles that have holes in them, like these for the adjustment systems, you want to make sure that they're filled with foam inside and also that they're sealed at the bottom here. That's important. Otherwise, water can get in very quickly. Another thing that's important with adjustable paddles is not to leave them floating in the water, because eventually all adjustable paddles will take on some water, and once the whole shaft fills up with water, the paddle can sink. So you want to make sure not to just leave a paddle unattended in the water for more than like 15 minutes, because eventually it will fill up with water and sink. Also, after using them, if a little bit of water gets in, just take it apart, let the water drain out, maybe wash it out with fresh water occasionally. Make sure you don't get sand and salt deposits building up inside the paddle. And also, you don't want to leave this clip open in the open position, because that kind of stretches out the clip and it won't have as much spring tension if you leave it open all the time. So when you're not using it, make sure to push the pins back in so it's in a relaxed position like this. All right, so that's the clamp system. So the next system is this one is like a pressure clamp system that just puts tension on the clamp and holds it in place. So this one is just a round shaft. When you open it, you can move the paddle up and down, and then when you close it, it tightens it and it's tight. If you have a paddle that you can twist while you're paddling, or it's too loose, what you can do is open the clamp first and then tighten these screws a little bit with the screwdriver, and then when you close it, it should be tight, so you can't twist it with just your bare hands or while you're paddling. It shouldn't be twisting at all. One of the things on these paddles is that you want to make sure that when you close the clamp, that the blade and the handle are lined up properly. So you don't want it to be crooked. You want to make sure that the blade and the handle are lined up. And this one has a little notch here and the line. So when you line up the notch and the line, it's parallel to the blade. All right. So this system also doesn't take on as much water as easily, but it does take on a little bit of water over time. So if you fall in a few times, you get a little bit of water inside. Just take the whole thing apart, wash it out with fresh water after you use it. One of the things you should do on any adjustable paddle, always wash it out after using it to maintain it and keep it from corroding or getting salt inside of it. All right, so another popular adjustment system is the Leverlock system. This one is on the Kealoha paddles, and a few other brands have this as well. It's a nice system that just uses a clamp at the top of the handle to open and close. So when you open it, you can move the paddle up and down. When you close it, it's in a tight position. And the way it works, it has a steel cable inside this adjustment piece, the steel cable inside here, and then a rubber joint here that when you pull it, it compresses this joint, and that's what makes it tight. So if this cable gets loose or it loosens up at all, sometimes it can get loose. So then the way to readjust it is just to tighten this little nut down here, and you want to make sure that you tighten the nut without twisting the steel cable inside. Now, because it has like metal parts and so on, it's also important to wash it out, keep it clean. The metal parts can corrode a little bit over time. So, and then it says on your washout after every time you use it, rinse it every time you use it with fresh water. This one also has a little arrow here. So if you line up the arrow with the line, that means the handle and the blade are in parallel. So you want to make sure that it's not crooked. And same thing, if the handle is a little bit loose while using it, you got to tighten up that little rubber joint on the bottom. All right, so that's the Leverlock. It's a nice system also because there's no big mechanical parts, joints on the shaft itself. Has a little bit of a lip here, but it's pretty minor. So, you know, obviously the advantages of having an adjustable paddle is that you can change it while you're paddling if you want to make it shorter or longer. Some people aren't sure what size paddle they need, so it's nice to have an adjustable one. And definitely if you're sharing it with other people that are not your same height, then it's a good idea to buy an adjustable paddle. But performance-wise, there are some disadvantages obviously when you're using an adjustable paddle. One is you have some extra weight. Basically you have two shafts together inside the paddle, so that also changes the flex pattern, adds more weight. There's more mechanical parts that can break down. So those are some of the disadvantages. The flex isn't as uniform, more weight, more maintenance. You have to clean it out and wash it and so on. And so the advantages of having a fixed length paddle where you just cut it and glue it permanently. One big advantage is that you don't have to do any maintenance to it. It can't take on any water, and it's lighter and has better flex patterns. So we usually recommend if someone just buys a paddle for themselves and they want a little bit more performance, we recommend getting a fixed length. If you know what size you need usually, definitely having a fixed paddle has a lot of advantages. But if you want more flexibility and adjustability, these are great paddles. All right. Thanks for watching. Aloha.
Aloha, I'm Chelsea Harden, Miss Hawaii, USA.
I'm Joanna Leocall, Miss Hawaii Teen USA.
Thanks for watching Blue Planet Surf YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up.
And subscribe to our channel as well.